This is going to take a look at bullet physics. Going under your Windows, Setting Preferences and Plugin Manager, make sure Bullet is loaded. Typing in the word bullet, bullet.ml, load it and auto load if you want it to appear over and over again. Now you'll have access to bullet physics under the FX menu. I want this ball to roll down or bounce down this plank. Selecting the ball, bullet, making an active rigid body. I'm going to make the plank a passive rigid body, and same thing with the floor. Bullet, passive rigid body. Here's my simulation caching. I don't need all these frames. Hitting play. And there it is, making its way down. And then it just disappears. Going to go under my playback settings. Instead of 30 frames per second, play every frame. Clicking on play. Now, if you see some funny things happen with your bullet solver, select the bullet solver, uncheck enable simulation, and recheck it. Start time will be 1 second in. Hit play. And my ball seems determined to flow off the side. Let me lift the ball up and play the simulation again. That seems to be working out a little better. Now I'm going to go back and set it back to 30 frames per second. Clicking on play. Going back to frame 0, clicking play. And I got the result I expected. I can move this ball over here, right above this vase. I'm going to select for each one of these items, including the shelf. I'm going to select those and select them to be passive rigid bodies. Selecting this vase, going to make an active rigid body. And let's see what happens, if anything. Move it up. And after I moved up the vase, putting its bounding box a little higher, everything was okay. Right, just moved a little bit until the ball collides with it. Let's explore what's going on with this vase. Selecting the vase under bullet rigid body shape. Going to collider properties, and the collider shape type is box. I don't want a box. Maybe it's a capsule. That's a little better. It gets pushed a little bit, but it doesn't fall off. This collider isn't fitting correctly, which could be just a temporary glitch. Still have a few tools to take care of that. So you can turn that off. We can increase and decrease the radius. That's not what's going on here. I want the offset along the y-axis. Maybe I have to set that up a little higher. 2 to 1. Maybe it's 0.7. I'll increase the radius because I'm using a sphere. If I use the capsule, maybe that would be a lot better. Let's see. Selecting my object again. Going with a capsule. To reset the scene, going to Bullet Solver, disable it. Now I can move around my object. Since this is a colliding surface, I can't put it through there. Think of a good shape for this. Maybe a cylinder would be a better shape for this. Try auto fit again, and that doesn't work. I can use the offset along the Y, move it up to 1, 1.2, and then drag this whole object down. Okay, increase this mass. It's focusing on the bullet rigid body shape for the sphere. I'm gonna make this a lot more massive than the vase. 10. Going back to frame 0, clicking on the bullet solver, enabling simulation, and clicking on play. Well, that doesn't prove anything, does it? We need this to move on over towards that. Go back to frame 0, lifting up this ramp. It was a passive collider. Maybe this ramp will help knock into here. Not enough force to knock it over. It does wiggle a little bit. We need more energy to the system. Let me lift this up. Hit play. Come on, off the shelf. So close. All right. Gotta give it a little more room. Hit this, and I'm increasing this mass. Oh, I feel so cheated by this simulation. So cheated. Yeah, like that would happen in real life. It's just clinging on. How could it? Let me remove friction from the system. This way there's no gripping onto anything. And try it again. Ah, victory. And hit that floor. And it's gone.